to the Rich Eisen Show, a highly valued member of the program. Here in his fat-mouthing segment every single Wednesday, which you termed it yourself. Super Bowl champion, former NFL cornerback, and my compadre at the NFL Network, Eric Davis. Good to see you here again, sir.
Always good to be here.
It seems like we're now, week to week, assuming Peyton Manning's not coming back. Would you say right now, as we are sitting here, Osweiler finishes the season for Denver, regardless of how Manning is feeling?
I'm going to say yes, but it's going to take strong intestinal fortitude to do so.
Well, Elway has that, does he not? Because that's
Kubiak. So
well,
it's not.
But seriously, though, I mean, who's intestinal fortitude when it all comes down to the intestinal fortitude? There's only one first ballot Hall of Famer that's sitting in that building who knows what Peyton Manning's going through.
But Kubiak also has to voice his opinion in that because it's going to determine whether or not he's the head coach moving forward. Because this is the thing. Brock Osweiler can make this decision easy. If the offense continues to grow and if they can run Kubiak's offense successfully, then Peyton doesn't touch the field. I said that when he first went down. So I'm already on record saying if Osweiler shows that he can run this offense efficiently, this is not a better than Peyton anything. If he can efficiently run this offense, Peyton doesn't touch the field. Why? Because you can then lose a playoff game and say in front of the media, he gave us the best chance. If he's not playing well and you don't put Peyton back out there, you have to answer the question, why not try and see if Peyton can find lightning in a bottle?
So then you crystal ball it for me. Peyton Manning is told you're IR'd, or his body does it for everybody, that he's, pushing 40, and his body does it for him, or Elway says to him, look, our best chance to win is Osweiler, but our best chance to win also requires you to be there if Osweiler goes down in a playoff game. And Peyton Manning is dressed, and there he is next to Napper, going through all of the plays on the blue tablet, and he does that. Do you think that would actually happen?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because I think more importantly than winning a Super Bowl with Peyton is winning the Super Bowl for Sean Elway, Kubiak, the Denver Broncos organization.
And Peyton Manning.
So I think that's the issue. And Peyton Manning. Agreed. And Peyton Manning.
Because they don't make the Super Bowl without the record required to win a division and go there.
Agreed.
And Peyton Manning was 7-0.
And now I'm not going to sit here and say that he's not going to be bothered, that his ego won't be shattered, and I don't think he's going to go down quietly behind the scenes. Of course, he's not going to come out. Peyton is smarter than that. He's not going to come out and say anything publicly. But there's going to be some hell to pay in the hallways. There will be hell to pay in the hallways because he's not going to be happy if that happens. But yeah, it's going to have to be, Elway.
That's what I mean. The intestinal fortitude, when it all comes down to it, and Peyton Manning can respect Kubiak for everything, but when it all comes down to it, it's like, okay, look, you're going to tell me that I'm not playing anymore?
Well, no, I mean,
Elway's.
Well, what I was going to say, it has to be Elway and Kubiak. They both have to be in on it because Kubiak will also know that he has to approve this decision. It has to be what Kubiak wants to do, or he knows he's not the coach.
Eric Davis joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Chances that Carolina gets its first loss in the Superdome this week, or what? What do you give me?
That's a tricky game. New Orleans, they're god awful. They are bad. It's a bad football team, which makes it tricky. Rivera has always had Sean Payton's number. He has a pretty good record even against their good teams. So I don't think this is the one. It's a tricky game for them, but I'll say they'll win this one also.
So which one might it be? The Carolina Panthers have 2 games against the Atlanta Falcons remaining. I'm calling up their schedule right now.
One of those games, it could happen.
One of those games. They also are against the Patriots kryptonite at the Giants in between. They're home for the Falcons, Giants at the Giants. At the Falcons and then home for the Bucs. That's their final.
At the Giants, at the Giants are one of the Falcons games.
Because we've been wondering here, we wondered on the show, and it even trickled down. It's been talked about by a lot of people as to which undefeated team in sports currently loses first, the Golden State Warriors or the Carolina Panthers? And Law, you said that question has trickled to Steph Curry
Yeah,
himself?
Steph Curry's in Charlotte, obviously a North Carolina native, and they're playing the Hornets. So he was asked that question. Here was his response on who he thinks will lose first.
First, Panthers, Warriors.
My answer to that is us, but not until like February, hopefully. So that means Panthers get their Super Bowl win, and we make it through that.
So Curry, he's a big Panther guy. He's a Carolina guy.
He's a big time.
Yeah.
So if the Panthers were 19-0 and playing in the Super Bowl on February 7th,
yes,
the Warriors would have to be 48-0 at that time. The 71-72 Lakers have the longest win streak in the NBA at 33 games.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility. Now, he would be available to go to the Super Bowl on February 7th because on February 6th, they play at home against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and on Tuesday against the Rockets that week. I just look at tickets for that game. You can't get a ticket for that game against the Thunder for under $150 right now.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, if...
But we're going, right?
Man.
We're going?
Right?
We're going.
Durant,
You want a
Westbrook.
ticket? College Dad. They'll get you one.
They'll get you one?
Yeah. They'll and some of your good people.
Do you think it's Panthers-Patriots in the Super Bowl? We got 5 games left here.
Panthers, Patriots. No, I think it's Panthers. Right today. This is the day I reserve the right to change my mind.
You do, of course.
Today I'd say Panthers, Pittsburgh.
Why do you like the Steelers?
You were on them in the preseason.
I'm still on them. I still like the Steelers. I still like what they are capable of doing. They can score. It's a question of what their defense brings that day. They're going to cause any defense matchup issues. They have so many threats in the passing game.
That means they've got to win pretty much, if the way it's all working out here. They've got to win at, let's say, the Colts or the Bengals/Broncos, whoever doesn't get that other, depending on where they land 5-6, which they're neither right now. It's the Chiefs and Texans, by
Whoever
the way.
wins the South is not going to be a major threat.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's get to the next round.
Then that would be Gillette.
Yeah, okay.
They go into New England and one and done the Patriots.
That's a team that could beat the Patriots. I really think so. I mean, we already saw what Denver did to them, and I think Pittsburgh has more offensive weapons. So now it's going to depend. A lot of it depends on the health of the Patriots. If the Patriots get healthy.
Well, the healthy would be that Edelman's back, Amendola's not soft tissue.
From that aspect
Gronk
of
is
it.
good.
Yeah. So if
Jamie Collins is healthy.
You get all of that back now, let's see. Especially going into Gillette, we know that. But this is one of those years where they seem to be snake bitten, and guys keep going down. So which key guy are you going to lose?
Before we throw to break and we come back, we'll do the fantasy, no defense. And Law, you're telling me a surprise this day in history?
Yeah, we got a good this day in history.
Okay, very good. Who wins Minnesota or Seattle this week? Who wins that big game? I can't wait for that one. What a huge game this is. That right now would be the matchup if the season started if the playoff season started right now.
Yeah, that's a big one, and I'm going to go with Seattle. I'm going to go Seattle.
You like it? You like what they've been able to do here?
Well, I like what Minnesota has been able to do. Seattle, normally, this is the time of year to where they seem to exercise all their demons and start playing. It's happened the last few years, so it's kind of hard to not, bet on history.
I know, although it would be interesting if this is just like in the first part of this year where their struggle was longer this year than the last couple of years where they took things to get going.
Well, I think part of the struggle was some of the new players and trying to figure out how to implement Jimmy Graham.
Sure.
He's not there.
Right.
So guess what you do? You go back to doing what you did. It may simplify some things.
Wow. You're the first person to say what I've been thinking, too, that the Graham injury might be somewhat of a silver lining.
You're going to go back and do what you know how to do.
Because a lot of people know that, okay, you're going to pass or run based on where he's lining up on the field, essentially.
Well, basically, exactly, because you don't run to him. If he's out there, it's normally, especially if they split him out to pass.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Eric Davis is here. When we come back, fantasy advice from all of us here as to which player we think will ball out in a game that will have points aplenty, our no defense game of the week. Segment coming up with our no defense commissioner and Chris Law.
That's me.
With a surprise this day in history when we come back on The Rich Eisen Show. Eric Davis, it's now time for you to put on the hat, if you will, figuratively, of the no defense commissioner as we are getting set to give everybody some fantasy advice here on The Rich Eisen Show.
fantasy players.
Good job, D! Good job!
Find out who you should start on offense after we tell you who's not playing defense.
Defense!
It's time for No Defense, presented by DraftOps.com.
Okay, so we identify the games where we think fantasy points will be aplenty and points in general will be aplenty, and then we choose a player. What's the order, Chris Law? Do I go first?
Yeah,
this
you're
week?
first, Brockman second. I am third.
Okay, here we go. Hit the music, Mike Del Tufo. My no defense game of the week is Sunday Night Football. The Indianapolis Colts and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Indianapolis Colts have the 26th total defense of the season. Their -5 turnover differential is 26th in the league, and we all just saw what Russell Wilson did to that Pittsburgh defense in front of the 12s. The Pittsburgh defense is on pace for the worst total defense in Steelers history. So I believe I have made my case in terms of how poorly these defenses have been playing of late, certainly all season long, and I am identifying Antonio Brown, the wide receiver coming off of a poor game, certainly for him, getting ready to rebound in front of the home folks, under the Heinz Field lights, in front of the whole country. I choose Antonio Brown as my no defense player of the week. Commissioner.
Accepted.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Chris Brockman, you are up. Go for it.
I'm going to go battle for New York City, the 6-5 Jets and the 5-6 Giants. The Giants are dead last in total defense, giving up 420 yards per game, last in passing offense. Now, the Jets, you might think on the surface they have a good defense, but they've given up the 8th most touchdown passes in the league, the 5th most pass plays of 20 or more yards, and in the last 6 games, they've given up 26 points per game on average. They give up the 8th most fantasy points to wide receivers, and I'm taking Odell Beckham Jr.
Attaboy. Attaboy, what do you think?
Okay, well, Brockman, before I rule on this one, being the commissioner, you know, everything passes my desk. And I heard you were trying to get the Carolina Panthers game going here.
Well, I looked at first blush and I was like, oh, that's the highest game in the desert. But I went away with knowing that probably not.
You try to sneak Cam.
You're trying to sneak Cam Newton in.
I didn't try.
You were thinking of it.
For 2 minutes, and then I skated on and moved on.
More than 2 minutes.
I just want you to know I have eyes everywhere, okay? So just know that.
You mean you have a host who rats out
I just have eyes everywhere, just know that. But back
How dare you say I rat people out?
That's you know, he called you a rat, man. That's
This is not a debate, if I may say so.
Not a damn
you know, his
debate
name is
guy.
on the mug.
Not a damn debate guy.
Accepted, okay?
Law, you go. You go.
Excellent choice of games, too, with that Giants and
Oh, you're
Jets
going
game.
with that game?
I'm also going to go with the battle in the Big Apple for New York, Jets and Giants. Could cite all the stats you did. I'll save everyone. I'm going to go with the other team, though, in this one. I'm going with the Jets. And I'm going with the wide receiver, Brandon Marshall. 118 targets on the year, 71 receptions, 9 touchdowns on the season. And who does he have thrown him to him, Del Tufo?
Fitzmagic.
He's got Fitzmagic thrown to him. He said it, the Giants' pass defense is dead last in the league. Prince Amukamara banged up. DRC hurt his ankle against the Redskins. Probably going to play. But let's go Brandon Marshall.
What do you think?
Accepted, and I like the machine. Yeah, definitely.
Like the machine.
Gotta go with the machine.
And I love the music. To play us out, Eric Davis, thank you for coming on the show as always. You're the best. It's
Thanks,
Fitzmagic, people.
Fitzmagic.
Would you not believe it's not so? Of course not.
These lyrics are so good.
Never makes mistakes, never use a plaything. This just gives the other team a home.
This is The Rich Eisen Show.
He's got a beard like Barry White.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.